Hi creative friends, this is Freya and thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to continue with this spread in Connie Solera's Painting the Feminine art journal. And now that I've left it alone for a couple of days and I've allowed it to completely dry, I'm liking it a lot more. I feel that this color over here that I added in my last video, I feel like it really lifted it up. And I also feel that this green, which it used to be a really drab green, and I used a very bright green. It's this one by Dick Blick. It's called Blue Green Deep. And it's just like a really popping kind of a green, and it picks up on the green over here, and all the greens over here. So I'm liking this a lot more now. And what I decided to do is I am going to try and keep, 30 to 40%, I guess, of Connie's work. But I'm also going to use some of my own collage. And before I turned the video camera on, I was playing around with some of my collage. And this is like handmade pieces of my own collage from a cheap blind composition notebook. And I'm really loving this piece over here. Now, unfortunately, it is covering up a lot of this area of Connie's, but I'm just loving how it picks up on all of the colors here, the blue from the Stabilo over here, and obviously all of these orangey, peachy colors going on the rest of the spread. So I'm really loving that. And I have this piece here, which I don't think it goes there, and I don't want to put it there. So I don't want to just put one piece of collage on the spread. I try to make it like 3, like I want an uneven number. So, and I don't know. Maybe I can find another. Okay, I'm going to just rip this up. And that's another great reason to use cheap composition notebooks to make your own collage, is it's like so easy for me to rip it up. Now, I do like that actually. I'm kind of liking that. And maybe if I like, I'm gonna leave that right there. And now I have this piece, and maybe I can add this piece somewhere. So this becomes like kind of a puzzle where I have to find the piece and like, where is this piece gonna go? I'm actually really liking that. And I can keep that part. So I think I'm just gonna stick this down. Now, I think that I might have covered up too much of Connie's work. I really do. I didn't want to, but I think that might have happened. Now, I just want to say, while I'm sticking down this collage here, I'm going to talk about, even if I covered up 100% of Connie's work, I'm going to try to explain this in a way that's easy to understand. Like, I have this, what I'm trying to say in my mind, and I hope I can convey this. So just say I covered up 100%, just say I came to this spread and I started working on it and I covered up 100% of her work. It doesn't matter, because her work still guided me to my end piece, whatever that end piece is or was. I hope I'm explaining myself. So just say I had a white page and I am working completely from scratch. I am going to come up with a very different piece than if I had to use a book like this. And even if I cover everything up 100%, I am going to have 2 completely different spreads, one on Connie's page and another one on a white piece of paper. And the reason why I say that is because each decision that I make on the page is guided by what's already there. Like when I go to work on a spread and there's already stuff happening, it's not a blank slate. So everything that is on there is guiding me to every color that I pick, mark, line, value, texture, etc. They are all working together. So even if I had to cover up everything, Connie's work still guided me there, because I would not have made this spread if it wasn't for her work. And that's why when you work in a book like this, you can set different challenges. Like you can set a challenge where you say, you know what, I'm only going to cover up 20% of Connie's work. Or I'm only going to, I'm going to retain all of Connie's lines. Or, I mean, it doesn't have to be Connie's book. It could be any book. But my point is, you can set different challenges for yourself. And you can even set a challenge where you say, I'm going to only keep, 15% of what's on the page. And by doing that, you're going to learn something new, like every single time you work in a book like this, because you are using the images to make whatever you're making. They are going to guide you, even if you cover it up, even if you don't like it, because nothing exists in a vacuum. So I hope I've explained that correctly. So I'm really loving these pieces of collage. I feel like it really adds so much to the page. Now it's hard to kind of completely see because, everything's still wet. But what I am going to do is I'm just going to use my pen and just kind of clean the lines up a bit, give some definition here. Now I'm not going to do this everywhere because I do want the lines of my stabilo to, like over here, I'm not going to put any lines there because I want that stabilo to shine. And I feel this little bit of green here gives this some interest. So I just think it's interesting. And so you guys, I'm really surprised at how this turned out, in the sense that I think after my first video, when I came back to my spread, I was really not happy with it at all. Like, it just was way too flat for me. So I'm really surprised at how it turned out. So I know that I covered up too much of Connie's work, and I didn't, that wasn't my intention, honestly, but I feel that given that, so much of this was not my visual language, I feel like I did keep a lot of her patterns and a lot of her work. And I'm learning a lot. And I'm probably going to learn a lot more. Like, I'm not even going to realize it, but like a month later or 6 months later, I'm going to, I'm going to be like, oh, okay. And then I'm going to realize something that, isn't apparent to me now. And I'm not going to do the features of these two faces right now. I'm just going to leave it be, but I think I am going to add another coat of my orange here. And this paint is not very thick. It's quite transparent, really. So I'm still, I can still see all the background here, but I just want to kind of, let me clean this up a little bit here. Okay, you guys, I'm really happy with so much of what's going on the page, and to me, this is like a huge win because I've learned so much. And I really am loving so much of the piece right now that I wasn't liking when I think it was my second part of my video. So anyways, if you have watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.